Try this again. Battery died on me, so I had to get the extension cord and restart this. We'll just skip right ahead here. AM to noon. And that. Commands and colors. Onyx. There we go. If it dies again, it's not the battery, but the battery was depleted, so we'll see what happens. Alright, here we go. What I decided to do, let me move this out of the way, was probe the left flank. I'll move the light infantry up. I've got some charts here to use. Light infantry, I can move one. Maybe two, see. So they'll move into the windmill hex. Up here. Light infantry there. I don't know that I need to do this, but I'm going to do this for now, just so I know that he moved. Then we'll go. Let's see. That's everybody on this side. And I can take 2 units or leaders on the left flank. So there's one. Let's pull this guy up. Line, how far can a line move? And one hex. Actually, he could have moved 2 hexes, but I think I'm good with that. He's going to move 1. Here. There's line infantry, so light infantry moved into the windmill. Line infantry moved up 1. And that's all I can do for that. What we got? Again, if the camera dies, it's already done that once. If the camera or whatever, the app, has a problem and dies, I'll probably just give it up. But so far, so good. Or so good so far. See if I can do this. Need some musical accompaniment. Surely that wasn't a problem. Alright. Russians. Here's what I'm going to do with the Russians. I know Stick of Joe has devised a method to play solitaire with card-driven games, but I'm just going to go random on them. Unless I get something like this counterattack, issue the same order card that your opponent just played. When you play this card, it becomes a copy of the card your opponent played on the last turn. Following instructions in the card as though you were actually playing it, except when countering a section card. Then the right flank becomes the left, and the left flank. Okay, that makes sense. Well, I need to draw a card, as do they. So, what I've drawn here for the Russians is the counterattack card, and that's going to allow me to do exactly what they did, except over here. So I can move 2 units on this side here. Let's move these guys up. Well, hold on before I do that. Move. Let's see, movement or mouse. So I need to do the French combat first before I do the Russian counterattack. Light, 2 hexes and 1 hex in battle. 1 hex in battle. So both of these guys can battle. I don't think this guy's within range of anything. This line infantry here. Line infantry, let's see, range 2. No, that's the Russians. Should be the same for the line infantry, range 2. So they're not within range of anybody. Yes, they are. No, they're not. 1, 2. But these guys, the light infantry, range 2. They are 1 die per block, plus 1 die. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, plus 1 die. Alright, here goes everything. And we need 1s or 2s, because I don't use the dice with the stickers that come with the game. I don't like it. I use normal dice and number them. So 1s and 2s are infantry. We've got 2 hits, so what does that mean? That means alright, so I just knocked out 2 of this light infantry here. And he's down to 1, and I get a victory banner after that. Now I can do the Russians. Russians like to go. Counterattack, what was that? That was the opposite of what happened over here, which means before I do that, one other thing. Okay. I don't know that I need those. So let's pull up, let's do something different. Let's pull those 2 cavalry units up. So light cavalry, movement, why is it 1 to 3? Can you move through? Move your units and yours. I can move 1, 2, or 3 hexes. Say, once per turn, occupy. Unit may not move onto or through a hex occupied by any. Okay, so they cannot move through there. What about this? Can they move through the woods? What about that? Otherwise they can't. I'm trying to determine if the cavalry can move out, because they can't move through these hexes since they're occupied. Only other option is to move through the woods or the forest, I should say. Movement, unit leader in this force hex must stop, and it may move no further in that turn. Let's just do that. Let's pull him up here, and he's going to have to stop since he's in the forest. There's some terrain, probably confusing terrain features on here, but the main ones, again, you need to pay attention to are these raised hills, the frozen lakes, which I have written on, frozen lake, frozen lake, frozen lake, and the woods hexes, which are woods hex, forest, and forest. Everything else is just eye candy. If it looks like it has some sort of effect, it doesn't. And then what about those Cossacks? I'm gonna pull those up. Where's their movement? Cossacks. I can do 1 to 3, so there's 2, 3. Could you pull up there in battle? 1, 2, 3. And then it's looking like these guys can battle, and then I should allow these guys to battle back, because that would be melee, right? So I want to form square with those 2 Cossacks units. And you gotta worry about being a square and hit by. I don't know if I want to do that. Hold your horses. Combat. All units may engage in melee combat. Adjacent to enemy unit may not use range combat. Melee. Alright. Melee combat. So what is... Cossacks aren't very strong. They're just more of a harassing type deal. And they roll 1 die per block. No save or hits except versus known leaders. So we're going to need 1s or 2s on 2 dice for those Cossacks. They got nothing. Now the light infantry unit here should be able to battle back. Melee combat. Leader casualty check. Battle. Okay, successful melee combat. Cavalry unit makes a breakthrough. No, that didn't happen. Cavalry breakthrough did not occur. Defending units battle back. Alright, so for the Russians, or the French rather, again it is 1 die per block. Straight up, so they did not move. One, 2, so that's just 4 dice, and we're looking for 3s. And nothing going on there, so that resulted in not a damn thing. Back to the French. What other options do I have now? So I have let's use this scout left flank card and pull up the light cavalry, which can move up to 3. Go here. This is actually a dead hex. So if I pull these guys up, they're going to have to... Can't go behind me. I'm going to have to stop here. one here. There's that. I'm going to draw, let's see, I should make 6 cards, draw another card. Back to the Russians, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's draw this one. What is this? Bayonet charge. In order to 4 or fewer units may move 2 axes and still battle in melee. So I pulled a bayonet charge card. What should I do? Let's see. Issue an order to 4 or fewer infantry units. Units may move 2 hexes and still battle in melee. So I could pull these guys up 1, 2 and still battle. Is that what you're telling me? Or these guys can move up and they're going to get torn up. Or these guys. So which ones do I want to do? 4 or fewer infantry units may move 2 hexes and still battle. Or units may not engage in ranged. You're going to have infantry units issue. Okay. Well, that's quite an order. So let's start with. These guys, and then we'll make our way down the table. So then we'll be able to do that with this line infantry unit and this line infantry unit. But let's start with these guys. So light and melee combat. What they got? They have just 1 die per block, and that's going to be 3. We're looking for 1s, 2s, and 6s. What is a 5? What is it? So basically 1s, 2s, 5s, and 6s. There's a 2, which means a hit, and we got a 5, so one of these goes away. 5s. We got a 5, and that is a flag, and that could cause somebody to retreat. After all combat hits have been resolved and blocks removed, retreats are resolved. For each retreat flag rolled against a unit, the unit must move 1 hex back. Okay, so he has to move back. He's going to go here. Now, can they gain ground after that? Let's see. Take ground. Infantry taking ground. Taking ground is never mandatory. Infantry unit that attacks cavalry. In order for unit attacks in melee combat, retreat. The infantry unit has conducted a successful. Advance and vacated hex. Do I want to? Yeah, I want to do that. Let's. That's a hell of a move. That turn. It basically just footballed down the field. Knocked those guys back. Okay, so we're good there. Now we'll move here. I don't know that I really want to, but I'm going to. The Russians are just going berserk. So this line is now going to battle these guys. You don't want to battle the guys in the hill because that's going to be a penalty there. So it's Russian line and melee. Half diaper block, round up. Light. So I did this wrong. They should have. 0.5 is 1. 0.5. So that should have been 2 dice, not 3. and this is going to be 2 dice because it's half die. Since they moved half die per block, round up. So it'll be 1 die, 1.5, round up is 2. Again, looking for 1s, 2s, 5s, and 6s. We got 2, which is another hit. But we also got a 6, which is sabers, and I don't remember what that is, so let's look it up. Sabers does not score a hit in range combat. So what does it do? It scores a hit in melee. So there's another hit. And then I did not retreat, so these guys can battle back. Line, French line, it should just be 1 die per block plus 1 die versus infantry, so that's what, 3? Same deal, 1s, 2s, 5s, and 6s. There's 2 hits, 3 hits. Every die scored a hit. So these guys are done, and I got my first victory banner for the French. And I could take ground, but I don't know that I want to. They're kind of beat up. I don't know how effective they'll be other than as a defensive deal, so take my victory banner. There's 1. How many more do I need? I already forgot. 6 more. Last, we're still doing this bayonet charge card. So 1, 2. No, 1, 2. I have a question. If I move, no, he has to move there. Never mind. This Russian line is heading down here. They move 2 X's in battle. That's going to be 2 dice, right? For having moved Russian line, half die per block, round up. Yes, 2 dice. Again, 1s, 2s, 5s, and 6s. We have a 6, which is a sabers. That means a hit. However, he's in the windmill thing, which is the same as a town, and the town has an effect, which I should have checked before rolling. Which town or windmill? Reduces the number of battle dice rolled by 2. Let's see, when targeting an enemy unit or leader that is on a town, an infantry unit reduces the number of battle dice rolled by 2. What does that mean? They can't attack? That makes sense. So based on what I'm reading, if they attack this unit here, this French light infantry unit, because they are in the windmill hex, they need to reduce their number of battle dice by 2, which equals 0, so I can't attack there apparently. This is according to what I'm reading. So should I have even been able to move there as a result? Not. Let's retract. They wouldn't have moved there if they couldn't attack there, so that is the end of the Russian phase. How the hell am I supposed to attack anybody in there? If I have to reduce the number of attack dice by 2 every time. Listen to what this says, ready? Von Holdinghausen. Hello, sir. This is a custom map, originally from Tide of Iron, Russian bear expansion. Made copies of it. Actually, I scanned the map, blew it up, printed it out. That's what you have here. What is another question? Do you like this era in general? Yes. If you're speaking of the Napoleonic era, yes, I do. And particularly the 1812. Well, this isn't 1812, but yes, 1812. The Russian, the French invasion of Russia stuff, but also Austerlitz, Eylau, of course. I've always been a fan of this battle, and Waterloo. You know. So I guess the short answer is yes. So this odd rule here says, again, this is a windmill. Trust me on that. When targeting an enemy unit or leader that is on a town or windmill hex, and the infantry unit reduces the number of battle dice rolled by 2. They only had 2 battle dice to roll, so it's a lost cause. 1, 2, 3, 4. They draw another card. Back to the French. We have another attack left flank we could use. We have an attack right flank, a scout center, which doesn't do much, another scout center, probe center. Anything to do with the center just worries me. It's all artillery up here, so I'm thinking this type of deal, right? I'm going with attack right flank for the French, and that means moving first. These guys are going to stay and fight the Cossacks. These guys are going to stay and fight the light infantry. These guys are going to move up and fight the Cossacks if needed. That is 3 can move and or battle. 2, 3, there's 4 here, so there's 1, 2. Each in order 3 units and the leaders on the right flank, so that's 1, 2, and the leader is attached, so he will move with this line unit. They have to stop. He's in the forest, couldn't go anywhere anyway because the unit's in front of him. So who's doing what? That means, and these guys don't have anybody, so that leaves. No, I don't know that I'm worried about the Cossacks there. Let's do that. So these 2 are going to battle, and they moved. So line infantry having moved. It's a weird concept to me because in a number of other games you wouldn't be able to make this move because you're moving. It just doesn't seem like I should be able to move there and then put them on my flank without attacking them, but it is what it is. So line infantry that moved, back to the matter at hand. It's going to be, again, half die per block rounded up, so that's 1, 2. So just 2. And what are we looking for? We're looking for 3s, 5s, or 6s. Well, we got a 6, which is a sabers that eliminates 1 Cossack unit. And they can battle back, right? Right. Got a lot going on there. Cossacks. What's 1 Cossack going to do? Not a lot. 1 die per block. No saber hits. So now we're just looking for 1s, 2s, and 5s. Of course they get a hit. was these guys, right? So there's hit. And then these guys here did not move. So that should be, and they are line, 1 die per block, plus 1 die versus infantry. That gives us 4 dice total. Looking for 1s, 2s, 5s, and 6s. We got a 5 and a 6. What does that mean? That means 6 is a sabers, that's a hit. And a 5 is a flag. So they retreat 1 hex. And these guys can gain ground, which I will happily do in this instance, moving up thusly. That brings us to the Russians' turn. And if I don't retreat this Cossack unit, it's going to be an easy victory banner for the French, so I need to get him out of there. In fact, it might be in my interest to just pull these Russian light infantry back, but let's see what happens. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay. Still have 5 here, 1, 2, 3, yes, 5, so let's draw randomly and see what happens. I don't know how fair that is for the Russians, but I think it balances out. The other thing that I noticed about this game is, so you can move on the right, the center, or the left based on what card you get. If you're on the line, you can move either on the right or the center. For instance, this guy here. If I had anybody on the line here, I could move if I had a move left or a center. So that kind of, wouldn't that kind of force you to maybe line everybody up on these lines so you get more chances to move or something? I don't know. How do I feel about that? Alright, so let's draw randomly for the Russians, and they draw attack center. Of course they do. That means big. We've got 3 units. One of them is going to be either infantry moving up. Let's just do that now. And then, what does a hill do to movement? I should probably just hill movement, no movement restrictions. And then that means line, Russian line moving. 1. Really? Okay. They're just going to move here and they're done. Man down. Let's do a quick repair. Do a glue stick. Put them back on. That's all this was initially, was glue stick and then super glue for the flags. Alright, there's the line they moved. Now let's figure out what the artillery's doing. Big Russian artillery barrage, you ready? Here and here. And that is foot artillery, which has a range of 5. So definitely within range. So we're going to fire at these guys are going to fire at this line unit. See chart below. Okay, chart below. Range in hex, number of blocks is 3, so range in hexes is 1, 2, 3. Number of battle dice rolled at that range 2. So this artillery unit is going to roll 2 dice, looking for 1s, 2s, and 5s. We got a 1 and a 6, so that's just 1 hit. Take him out. And then this guy here, same deal, it's going to be 2 dice, except this time we're looking for a 4 or a 5. And they got a 4, which means a hit. So one of these is gone. Not a bad little round for the Russians. In fact, for those of you keeping score, we're now at, even though I flubbed earlier, should have been 1 dice less in combat than I used. We're currently at 5 French infantry units eliminated compared to 4 Russians, and 1 French artillery unit to 1 Russian Cossack, so I think the Russians have slight advantage at this point. at least in terms of units eliminated. But positionally, I think the French had the advantage until, depending on how far they continue to move forward, obviously we need to continue to do that. But man, again, this is going to be hairy in here, which makes me want to just go around that. We need these hill hexes though. Oh jeez. Alright, so that was 1, 2, 3, 4. And there was no battle back because that was ranged combat. There's 5. Back to the French. The Russian in command here is Bennigsen versus Napoleon. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What do the French want to do next, huh? So again, we have probe right flank, which allows us to activate 2 units. I think we should do that because that could be 2 easy victory banners. Let's go ahead and do that. Draw a new card. 2 units. So let's just have at it. Light infantry going against this Cossack unit. That's going to be 4 dice. Light infantry, 1 die per block. Looking for 3s, 5s, and 6s. Look at that. I got a 3. That's the only thing I got, which means he's done. That is another victory banner for the French. So they now have 2 victory banners to the Russians. No. Give me this. Give me my banner. They can also gain ground, right? Yes. Move up. Why don't they just say advance after combat? Why is it gain ground? Is that an era-specific colloquialism? Alright, then we have... Let's do these guys. And it's just 2 units, so there's 1, and this would be the second and last one. And it's going to be... I already forgot it. Line. 1 die per block. Plus 1 die versus infantry, so that's 4? Really? That's generous. What are we looking for? Well, 1s, 2s, 5s, and 6s. There's 2 6s and a 1, so guess what? There's our next victory banner. Decimating the Russians at this point. We are now at 3 victory banners for the French and none for the Russians. And we only need 4 more as the French to win this game, so... back to the Russians. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see, drawing randomly. What do we draw? Bombard. We just did kind of a bombard thing, but issue an order to 4 or fewer artillery units. Ordered units may move, don't want to move, or may not move in battle with 2 additional dice. Wow. This is pretty intense. So these guys, and these guys are all going to battle with 2 additional dice. And I don't want to say this is a turning point in the game, but this could be bad for the French. Alright, let's start up here and move our way down. We're going to try and... Is he within his line of fire there? I don't think he is. Artillery. I need to determine. I'm going to say that he is out of... Well, there's no facing changes though, so... If you wanted to be really detail-minded, you could argue this guy is not within his arc of fire, but I'm going to allow it. So, what is the range there? 1, 2, 3. And he has a foot and a 3. Range max is 3. So that's 4 dice. And 1s, 2s, or 5s. 1s, 2s, or 5s. Well, we got a 1 and a 5. That's 1 hit. And a 5 being flags as 1 hex retreat. So that wasn't terrible. That was 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Same thing, 4 dice. We're going in here again, looking for 1s, 2s, and 5s, and that was an entire flub, nothing. So you guys looked out, and battling here at this enemy foot artillery unit. Except this time we need 4s or 5s. We got a 4 and a 5. 4 being 1 unit eliminated, and a 5 being 1 hex retreat. So how do you like them apples? I guess not as good as some apples. I don't even like apples that much. Applesauce is good. I just don't like apples. Did we draw a new card? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, that means back to the French. I feel like, I know I'm making progress, but as far as movement across the battlefield, I don't feel like I've done a whole lot. I guess the Russians have done the work for me. So what do we have next? Well, it'd be nice to swing up around that way. It's just all open for me to move up there. Let's see what we can do. Do we have another right? No. Why not? I don't want to move up the center, so I'm not using this. What does that leave? That leaves a cavalry charge, a coordinated advance, which means 1 on the right, 1 on the left, 2 up the center. I just don't care to move up the center. And I guess that's interesting, because if there's a particular area you just want to avoid, and you keep getting those cards, you're really limiting yourself in the hopes that you get flank cards or cards that you want. Let's do attack left flank. Draw a new card. And I can move 3, or rather order 3. I think this leader needs to be doing something. Let's attach him, and then that's that. So that's 1. So I have a line. Line on the light. What do I want to do with those? Line moves 1. Light can move 1 and 2 and not have light. 1. You know what? Let's see if we can pull this off and get quick victory banner for that guy. And then line can move with 1, right? He's just going to move. Let's move him here. That leaves, so they did move light, moving, ranged fire dice melee. 1 die per block in melee, even though he moved. If I was doing ranged fire, that would affect me, but I may have been doing that wrong as well. But hey, so 1 die per block, that's 4 dice, and what are we looking for? 1s, 2s, 5s, and 6s. We got a 1, and we got 2 6s, and that's done. And another victory banner for the French, and you can gain ground if you want. I don't know that that's in my interest at this point. Or is it? Nope, not in my interest, because I'm going to move up on that hill and gain another temporary victory banner. So staying there, give me my victory. Now we're at 4 victory banners for the French. Back to the Russians. The Russians aren't doing so good. Maybe it's the method I'm using via random card draw here. I'm going to stick with it though. So now they draw assault left flank. Or a number of units or leaders on the left flank equal to the command cards held in your hand. That would have been 5. I only have order number of units. So basically 1, 2, 3, 4. Everybody on the side from here on can do something with that card. Ow, my back hurts. Alright, light cavalry. Russian light cavalry. I may need to form square at this point. That's just too much to contend with. Let's see if I can do that. Can you form square? Let's see how. What's your square? Forming a square. When the infantry unit chooses to form square, the attacking player selects one card at random from the defending infantry player's hand of command cards. The attacking player cannot look at the card selected. The card is placed face down on the defending player's infantry and square track, and the corresponding numbered square counter is placed on the infantry unit's hex to indicate the unit is in square. The player may at any time look at the cards on his infantry and square track, but these cards can never be moved around on the track. Basically, it's going to temporarily cost you a card to form square, which limits you tactically, but I'm cool with that. So we'll do that to represent the square, and then they have light cavalry. Let's see, what is the effect of being in square? When a cavalry unit has caused an infantry unit to form square, the infantry unit in square will battle first with 1 die, even though the opponent is the active player. Well, maybe I shouldn't have formed square. 1 die. I got a 2, which is nothing. Could have caused the cavalry to bounce, but that didn't happen. Squares versus squares, trees, squares attacking, coming out square. Combined arms, and so let's just roll for the. Now let's roll for the light cavalry. That's an interesting way to deal with the infantry square mechanic. Essentially, limit your hand tactically and allow you a quick minor initial attack. I guess it works. Light cavalry, 1 die per block. 2, 3, 4, and looking for 1s, 2s, 5s, 6s, all that stuff. We have a 1, we have a 5, we have a 6. So that's 2 hits and a retreat, which allows them to be on the ground. They're going to retreat into the forest. Bring them to the forest. Pull these guys up, because that's what they do. They're done, right? Yes. Trust the egg. 1 to 2. They're going to just move 2, 1, 2. They're done. And this is all again a result of that massive assault left flank card. Russian line can only move 1, so they move up here. Slowly clogging this lane that was initially open. And Grenadiers, they can move 1 as well. Let's just pull them up here. Which leaves the... that was 2, right? Yes. So 2 dice, looking for 1s, 2s, or 5s. We got a 2, that's 1 hit. So they're chipping away. But when you look at the, again, at the victory banners, 4 to none, that's pretty sad. So there's the Russian move. Brings us back to French. Let's see. What do I do for the French? I wasn't going to play this long, but I've already got 4 victory banners for the French, so it may not be that long at all. Much longer as to say that I need to play. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and do the coordinated advance. And we'll see what happens. One of the main reasons I'm doing this is because that's going to allow me a quick temporary victory banner for occupying this hill. I'll verify that until I'm knocked off. Basically, this is going to be an episode of King of the Hill here. So, if I'm not mistaken, that's a victory banner, right? Gains 1 temporary for each hill hex occupied. Yes. Now we're up to 5, simply because I took that vacant hill there. So that was that, and then I can do 1 over here. Let's go. Is there something special that occurs when you fire from forest? Battle. When targeting an enemy unit or leader on the field when battling out of. No. No. No penalties there, so it's just going to be line infantry, Russians, melee 1 die per block, plus 1, no, that's not infantry, so it's just 4 dice. We need 3s, 5s, and 6s. We got a 3 and a 6, that means 1 cavalry unit eliminated, and the 6 is 1 cavalry unit eliminated. They can battle back. Light cavalry battling back is 1 die per block. Really? That's pretty good. Oh, wow, they got 2 flags. But they're with a leader, so I can ignore one of those flags, can I not? Don't remember. Flags. Leader. There's leaders. Oh, I also have to roll a. Oh, watch roll for intensity. The leader's intense. Okay, we've done that. If there had been a hit, if I had taken a hit, I'd have to roll a leader casualty check. We didn't take any hits, so we're good. Now I'm trying to determine when a unit with an attached leader may retreat onto a hex that contains an unattached leader. You must always retreat. What's that? trying to determine if this unit can ignore one of those. I rolled 2 flags, right, which technically means they have to retreat 2 hexes. But I think the leader, if I remember correctly, allows you to ignore one of those flags, and I can't find that to verify it. Leader escape, no. I'll look just a little bit longer and then decide. Let's see, 2 flags, 2 axes. I don't see it, but for some reason I seem to remember it that way. So instead of retreating 2 hexes, they're only going to retreat 1 because they have an attached leader. I'll have to verify that later. I'm confident with that decision. What does that allow? That allows them to move into the forest. Yeah, do I want to? No, I don't. I'm going to stay there. So that leaves the 2 in the center. I said I didn't want to do anything, but there's actually things I need to do. I just can't sit here ignoring the center. That's ridiculous. So 2 units in the center. I've got an old guard sitting there doing nothing. They need to do something. Old guard can move 1. No, that's not very good. They'll just move into Eylau here and hang out. So there's 1 action, and then for the second, got a line unit here that can move 1. Let's pull them up here and start wrapping around, or maybe even going for a hill. So that's that. That could start being annoying because it's tying up a card in my hand. Back to the Russians. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and again the French have 5 victory banners. They just need 2 more. The Russians have none. How is that possible? It's crazy. Did I miss something? Probably. Alright, random draw. What do we draw? First strike. Play this card after opponent declares a melee attack. That doesn't work. Draw again. Short supply. Card the Russians have drawn is short supply. 1 enemy or friendly unit, card holder's choice, is out of supply. Now, why would you choose a friendly unit? Remove the unit from that hex it occupies and place it on a baseline hex that may be entered, owning the player's choice in the same section of the battlefield if there are no. Unit has an attached leader. So I can take, really? Well, you know what I'm going to do is the Russians, right? If you can take 1 unit and basically relocate it to any baseline hex, saying it's now in short supply, it's going to be this one, because then that gets rid of my temporary victory banner. So, and it has to be on the same side. We'll just stick them here. Well, that's a bunch of junk. They should have went to Cabela's before the battle, because now they're out of supply. Or I should say short supply. I have to forfeit that temporary banner, so the card-driven mechanic helps the Russians out here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Back to the French. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we're down to 4 victory banners again. Probe center, scout center, scout center. Cavalry charge, probe left flank. I'm hitting that left flank again, sorry. Maybe I'm overdoing it with the left flank, but I'm hitting the left flank again, sorry. Light can move 2 and no battle. You gotta get them back up there. 1, 2, so there's 1. And then I got one more move I can do. You know what, let's pull. Pull this light cavalry unit up here and get them forward so that I can then move this line unit into the windmill hex. So there's one move. They can move light cavalry, French can move 3. That's 1. You know what? 2, 3. That's what I'm doing. Yeah, I said it. Can we knock out those Cossacks? Light cavalry. 1 die per block, that's 4 dice. And we need 3s, 5s, or 6s. We got a 3 and we got a 6. That's 2 hits. What does that mean? That means they are done. And we got a victory banner back. That worked out nice, huh? Back to 5 there. That's technically a breakthrough, right? Cavalry breakthrough. What happens when that happens? Cavalry take ground and cavalry breakthrough. Jesus. Cavalry breakthrough. When order cavalry attacks in melee combat and eliminates forces defending the unit to retreat. Bonus attack after. So I can do the breakthrough and make a secondary bonus attack, which I'm going to do, and I'm heading right here. And is there a penalty for a bonus attack? Only cavalry units after a successful melee. Do not move into the vacant hex for a bonus attack is optional. And turning by cavalry on 1. Another comment. Trying to determine if the once I make this attack as the French is my bonus breakthrough cavalry attack. If the Russians can battle back, I don't see where it says they cannot. So we will continue on, and it's still 4 dice, and it's 3s. We got a 3, and 5s and 6s. So that's 2 hits and 1 retreat. What happens if you retreat off map? So this could be potentially bad for the Russians. Retreats. Okay, so instead of retreating off the map, he just loses one unit. Ouch. And I'm going to say they can't battle back because he would have retreated anyway. So that's the end of that. That was very fruitful. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Russians. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What do we have with the Russians here, huh? Not doing good. Recon and force. So 1 unit in each section can do stuff. You know what I'm going to do? This light cavalry unit here is going to run away on a weird direction. One of the weird flukes of the game here. But that will prevent. No, I'm not doing that. I was gonna say I'm gonna try to prevent an easy, quick victory banner from being obtained here, and maybe I should. But instead, I'm gonna launch an artillery bombardment on this line infantry unit here. 1, 2, 3. And that is 2 dice. That's what I'm doing. We need 1s, 2s, or 5s. 2 2s, so that worked out. I'm glad I chose that. That worked out to the Russians' advantage, so there's that. Knock those guys down in half. Let's do another one here. It's going to be 2 dice as well. I'm still looking for 1s, 2s, or 5s. Got a 1, so that's 1 hit. Again, chipping away. And finally, I mean, you got the artillery, right? You might as well use it. 1s, 2s, and 5s, nothing. So that didn't work out. It's the Russians' turn. 1, 2, 3, 4. I need to draw a card. Back to the French. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a 6th one for being square. I know what I'm looking for, and I don't have it. If I had a left flank tactic card, I could pull back on this hill and get another temporary victory banner, which would bring me to 6, because I'm at 5 now. Or attack that light cavalry unit and get a victory banner. That would bring me to 6. But I don't have anything by way of left flank. I've got a bunch of center stuff and a couple rights. Well, I don't think there's a lot I can do on the right either. So let's use a center. We'll use probe center. And that allows me to do 2 actions with anybody in the center here. What can that line infantry unit do? They can move 1, so let's move 1. There's 1. Closer to a victory banner by taking the hill. And Old Guard moves 1, so let's move them up 1 as well. And that is my move for the French. Back to the Russians. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They pull probe center. Draw a random card. Probe center as the Russians. Got that artillery? You're going to use it, right? I mean, why not? Could this be the Russians' first victory point banner? And it won't be. So that's nothing. What about these guys? Oh, they get their first victory point banner. These artillery just finally decimated the rest of that line unit. And there's the... So we're now at... Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 1. Time is of the essence here, because as the Russians have chipped away at these guys, they're going to start racking up victory banners if I don't act. Back to the French. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need to draw. No, I already have one there. I got scout center, cavalry charge, probe right flank, and probe center. I'm probing center again. Probing center. That allows 2 units to act. If I move right here, and on the next turn move there, I can get a victory banner. So there's one unit action. That leaves 1 more. Pulling these guys up. There's my second and final. No, yeah, he was on a line, so he can do it. Second line unit moves up. Pull that there. I already have all my cards right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Back to the Russians. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Drawing randomly. The first strike doesn't help me. Scout right flank. 1 action on right flank. What the hell is that going to do? Jesus. You know what it does? Here's what it does. If I move there, you can have a big horsey battle. Heavy cavalry versus light cavalry. This should be interesting. What's the heavy cavalry got? 1 die per block plus 1 die. That is 5 dice coming at you, Frenchies. And you're looking for 3s, 5s, and 6s. There's a 3, there's a 6, that's 2 hits. So half of my light cavalry is now gone. Say it again, chipping away. And then as far as this French light cavalry, 1 die per block, so that's 2 coming back. Looking for, ooh, I got 2 hits. And I get to roll for a leader casualty. So half of theirs gone, half of their heavy cavalry. Right, heavy cavalry, let's see, maybe yeah. Now I have to roll for a leader, possible leader casualty. Leaders attached, okay. Well, 2 battle dice did. The leader, 2 saber. So I'm going to roll 2 dice, and if I get 2 6s, they lost their leader. I got 2 1s, so whatever. That was the French. No, that was the Russians. Back to the French. 1, 2, 3, 4. They need a card. There, back to the French. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have a scout center. Well, guess what? I'm scouting center and taking a victory banner for occupying said hill o' beans. Victory banner taken. Boom. Now we're at what, 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1 victory banner away from victory for the French. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need another card. Russians. It's not looking good for the Russians. I mean, they only have 1 victory banner. And they grab probe center. What's the point of probing center? Well, two actions in the center. This is a long shot, but 1, 2, 3, 4, literally a long shot, and figuratively 4 for that foot artillery. Range and hex is 4, number of battle dice 1. But I'm trying it, and if I get a 4, I get a victory banner. Ah, 2. What do I do for the next action? I'm not doing that again, that's stupid. What I am doing is moving up here to prevent a quick 7th victory banner being obtained by the French. So that's the end of the Russians. Probably should have done that here. No, I should have done that there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, what can the French do to get their final victory banner? What can they do? I don't have anybody that can do anything on the left. Really? Or it would be over. I know it. I can't do anything on the left. You know what? Nope. I have nothing. Unless maybe, do I have something on the right? Yes. Let's do a probe right flank and see what we can get here. That's going to be French line. 1 die per block plus 1 die versus infantry, so it's just 3 dice. And we want 3s, 5s, and 6s. We got a 3, and we got a 6. And you know what that means? We got a victory. That's it. The French won this scenario in impressive fashion. I think as the Russians, I was perhaps a little too passive, and I'm going to add that my method of random card drawing for the Russians affected them adversely. So don't do what I did, because it's not balanced. You have to do Stupid Joe's card-driven method, or just look at them and just choose which one you want to do with the Russians. But anyway, the French pretty much, again, impressive victory by the French. That was the opening scenario for the Eylau multi-scenario stuff in this Russian army. This is expansion number 2. Right? No, that was, so there's 3 aspects of this, or 3 phases of this Eylau scenario, such that there are 3 scenarios. This was the second one. The initial one was kind of feeling out stuff. It just didn't seem too tactically interesting. But if I play the one right after this, this is Murat's cavalry charge, so historical background, you know, and it doesn't tell you the historical outcome. It just gives you the historical setup. So, for Murat's cavalry charge, everything's the same except you need 9 victory banners to win. And the Russian player gains 1 temporary victory banner for each town hex of Eylau occupied. So whereas the French were gaining a temporary victory banner for the hills, the Russians would gain one for any of the Eylau town hexes. Oh wow, listen to this. The Russian player also gains a sudden death victory when 5 French cavalry units are eliminated. Now that sounds like a lot, but that's doable. French player will gain a sudden death victory when all 3 Russian artillery units are eliminated. So that's essentially the same 3. No, they now have, the Russians in this scenario will have 5. Where they only have 3 now, they will have 5, and if I knock out 3 of those, lakes are still frozen, no pre-battle Mother Russia roll. So that is the Murat's cavalry charge, the final scenario in these Eylau scenarios. French won. Thanks for watching. Thanks for bearing with me. I'll talk to you guys next time I talk to you. And keep gaming. Bye-bye. Let's see if I can figure out how to turn this off. Alright.